It's Thursday, July 27th. I'm Scott Squires, and this is SaltWire Today. The issue of cellular coverage and emergency alerts is in the spotlight once again, following the May wildfires and the recent flooding from historic rainfall. Premier Tim Houston held a cabinet meeting earlier today, and during his media availability, Houston was pressed on both issues.
Cellular coverage remains an issue in the province. It's something I'm concerned about, and I'm certainly not happy with the progress to ensure that there's cellular coverage across the province. So I would agree with the mayor on that there's lots of work to be done. So I just, I've had significant discussions with the team at Develop Nova Scotia on what can be done for cellular. There are things that can be done, and I've asked them to kind of move quickly on that. Obviously, the initial focus was on access to internet for people. With the Starlink option is still an option and stuff like that too. So it opens up, but there are definite issues with cellular coverage, and it's a focus of ours.
The Premier was also asked about the potential of looking at other means of sending out alerts.
Happy to have those discussions on how we keep people informed. I think the discussion around emergency alerts is one that will continue to evolve, and as soon as we get through these floods, we'll do a debrief, as always happens. But we're still at the moment searching for one missing soul. And there's the focus on getting through the floods, but certainly the debrief will be important as well.
We have team coverage of the flood aftermath at SaltWire.com. As infrastructure repairs continue across the province after damaging rainfall, a section of major highway in the province is still closed. It's expected to impact more than 8,900 daily commuters, truckers, and vacationers for weeks to come. Sheldon McLeod has more.
If your work or your play takes you along Highway 103 in Lunenburg County on Nova Scotia's South Shore, pack your patience, as they say. Thousands of drivers are being diverted to a secondary road after the damaging rainfall earlier this month. According to the Nova Scotia government, on average, there are almost 9,000 vehicles a day traveling between exits 7 and 8 along the 103 highway, but not since last weekend and maybe not for a while yet. These images show some of the damage from runoff of the nearly 300 millimeters of rain that fell July 22nd. The province, as crews continue to assess Goat Lake Bridge near exit 7, they say the 60-meter-long bridge remains closed, and until it's repaired, the highway will remain closed between exits 7 and 8. Now, there is a detour along Trunk 3, and drivers are told to expect significant delays. And whether you approach from Bridgewater or from Halifax, you'll be sent along that single-lane Trunk 3 until further notice, and that means drivers are going to have to add time to their schedule and maybe take a few extra breaths as workers direct traffic at some of the choke points. In the meantime, people living along that usually quiet section of road are going to have to put up with long waits to get out of their own driveway. And at least one homeowner has a small ask for drivers passing by their place. On Highway 103, I'm Sheldon McLeod for SaltWire.
Time to meet some Halifax entrepreneurs. 10-year-old Joe and 9-year-old Simon have been making bank with their lemonade stand. They sell cups of lemonade for $2 each, and their wide range of customers include paramedics and firefighters. They take their business seriously and make sure the lemonade is cold and flavorful, and the young entrepreneurs are learning the value of money. Simon tells SaltWire he's already bought a video game and is saving up for more purchases. The lemonade stand has been a lot of work, but the boys are proud of their efforts and the profit they're making. Andrew Rankin has more on the lemonade vendors at SaltWire.com. SaltWire's Dave Stewart was given a behind-the-scenes tour of the MV Saaremaa, the ferry that sails between Wood Island's Prince Edward Island and Caribou, Nova Scotia.
Upstairs, Captain Eric Boucher keeps a watch over everything. He's been a mariner since 1986, spending 23 years on tankers and 10 on ferries. Boucher was the pilot called to prepare the Saaremaa for its transition to the PEI Nova Scotia crossing last year and got the call again last month. The captain said the big challenge last year was making alterations to the docks at Wood Islands and Caribou so the Saaremaa would fit.
We are in a narrow channel with limited underkeel clearance. We do respect our underkeel clearance, and we have to watch our speed. And since the tidal system here is doing cross current that are changing with tide change, the current is changing at every trip. So you have to be really careful during that channel transition from the fairway buoy in Caribou all the way up to the jetty. And in Wood Island, you have a cross current of up to 4 knots in the very narrow channel entrance at the harbor. So it's also challenging to get in there in restricted visibility as well.
The MV Saaremaa will continue sailing between Wood Islands and Caribou until Thanksgiving weekend. And the crew I encountered during SaltWire's visit say they love it here and think the vessel is well suited for the crossing. Whether or not it returns next year in 2024, that decision remains up to Transport Canada. Reporting in Charlottetown for SaltWire, I'm Dave Stewart.
Dave's full video and article available at saltwire.com and our YouTube channel. Weather specialist Allister Aalders is at the Chain of Lakes Trail in Bears Lake. Hey Allister, what's it like out there?
Thanks, Scott. Well, the clouds were a bit more stubborn today than I thought they'd be, although the sun was peeking out at times. The clouds are ahead of a system that unfortunately will be bringing us some wet weather tonight into early Friday. So this evening we will have cloudy skies with fog patches, and then during the overnight hours, rain with a risk of embedded downpours and thunderstorms. We'll see the temperature this evening near 22 degrees, waking up near 20 on Friday morning. I do think the rain tapers off very early on Friday morning and will otherwise have mainly cloudy skies. Looks like up to 20 millimeters of rain here in the Halifax area, but given the threat of embedded downpours, we could see local amounts of 20 to 40 millimeters of rain. Into the afternoon on Friday, not looking too bad with a mix of sun and cloud, a high of 28 degrees, but still humid. It will feel like 35. Now, with this rain system coming through tonight, I don't expect it to be like we experienced last Friday, although given that there is the threat of thunderstorms and embedded downpours, we do need to keep in mind that when rain falls over a short period of time, there's always a risk of localized flooding, so just keep that in mind. Keep an eye on the forecast. Of course, any updates or changes to the forecast will be posted online as the system evolves, but at this point, not looking like what we experienced last Friday. Scott.
Thanks, Allister. That's all for now. For more video, audio, and articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com, and you can always find us on socials. And a reminder that the Baseball Canada Women's Invitational Championship is taking place at Ware Field in Upper Sackville and Mainland Common in Halifax until Sunday. I'm Scott Squires. Thanks for spending some time with SaltWire today. And from the wise words of my mother, if you can't take part in sport, be a good one anyway. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Turn off the noise. Tune in to what matters. What matters is information you can trust. What matters is the news you can use to make life's big decisions. Informed healthcare choices, casting the smart vote, or opening that business. What matters is understanding the world around you. Let SaltWire connect you to what matters with unlimited access to the information you need for only $20 for the first year. Become a member today.